Hi. Before I start this video, I just want to formally apologize. I do not have an intro credit scene to begin my video off. I did have one when I started making these videos, but I had deleted it for reasons I can get into some other time, but just for the time being, I do not have one, but I will be making one, and it should be used in my videos regularly soon. I know that taking 2 seconds to examine the current popular events and comebacks for this year, we'd all come to the conclusion that this video I'm about to talk about is irrelevant. But this mini album is something I've been itching to talk about for over a year. I just haven't until now because 1. I didn't know how to approach this topic, and 2. I was still debating on whether or not to keep this channel and how high of a priority I wanted it to be in my life. But I feel fairly confident now that I can admire and praise this mini in a way it deserves to be. This is going to be my video for the month of December. It was supposed to be released in November, but because of school and other issues going on in my life, I got pushed over to December. I am working on a second video that I hope to release before the end of the year. However, there are no guarantees on that. That being said, allow me to introduce today's topic. Red Velvet, even 10 years later, never fails to present us with good quality music and creative and detailed concepts to accompany said music. Of all their creative concepts, I want to talk about one that has gone rather unnoticed and, from what I've seen online, underappreciated. The Reba Festival 2022 Birthday, in my opinion, tells the most focused story of a girl caught up in the aftermath of a traumatic breakup. The mini album has 5 tracks, and in that limited time span, is able to impact the listener with emotion, grit, and flair in its recount of the tale. I'm going to walk through each of the songs and describe the setting and events and inner turmoil that our broken-hearted victim goes through. Then I'm going to do my best to explain how this era's concept provides the perfect backdrop to this tale and why I love it with all of my heart. Denial. The mini album opens with the unapologetic banger that is Birthday. The song samples George Gershwin's Rhapsody in Blue, and we can hear the iconic horn melody usher us into the mansion to a party so magnificent it's as if the great Mr. Gatsby himself is throwing it. We're dressed for the occasion in our most expensive furs thrown over the loudest graphic tee. It seems everyone is at this party. We can hardly find a place to stand. There's tables and tables of entrees and desserts and drinks, enough to give everyone seconds and thirds and fourths if they want them. The hordes of guests are loud, but the music is somehow able to overpower the crowd. You can feel the bass causing the floor to vibrate. The electric guitar styles the song with a rocker aesthetic, and the drum pads make sure to discourage any desire to stop partying. The chorus is approaching. The vortex of space taking you from the verses to the chorus makes you feel like the roller coaster just reached to the top of the drop. That moment is so thrilling. The feeling is unexplainable. If only he was here with you. Our proxy is suffering from the aftermath of a traumatic breakup. She was the one who was wronged in the relationship, and it seems like she is the one who cannot move on from that pain. The party is exciting and overwhelming, but so is the grief. The celebration should have been enough to compensate for the sadness, but for some reason it isn't. Maybe with a few drinks in her system, she'll be able to forget about it, at least for a moment. But even with those few sips of champagne, she's revisiting that moment of trauma in her mind. She tells herself, make your day. Clasp your 2 hands tightly. Imagine whatever you wish. Tonight, we rock the world. It's not working. She's dancing, singing, and even drinking, but it isn't enough. I can make the beat go bam bam bada bam badam badam. She's trying to force herself to have a good time. The way the onomatopoeia used in the song feels like you're hitting sheets of metal with a sledgehammer. You're not going to get the result you were looking for. This pop song adorned in rock aesthetics is supposed to represent the aggressive attempts made at moving on from pain without addressing it properly. She didn't address it, so she can't heal from it. Not yet. 2. Moving on. The first thing you hear on Bye Bye is a vocalist of Red Velvet, taking in a deep breath, yes, to begin their performance, but also to have an inner discussion with herself about what happened. Her approach to healing is to view the dreaded betrayal from the high ground. Bye bye. There was a time I was fooled by you, so I won't talk to you anymore. Bye bye. This dangerous love, I won't do it again. She might have been played for a fool, but there is no way she'll allow herself to feel that way ever again. She's above it, and it has no hold on her. At least that's what she tells herself. You and I were just a mistake, a coincidence that we were fools. That's all. Don't think that I'll cry more. I got no heartache. This love was real. This relationship was real. It isn't fair that she has to live in a world where the depths of her love for him did not match the depths of love he had for her. She's recognizing how humiliated she was, but in admitting that, she isn't allowing herself to feel anything else. She isn't digging deep enough. The healing isn't complete, but she isn't going to continue down that path she fears will be too much for her to handle. You are my destiny. My world's upside down. I see it's bigger and stronger than I thought. I thought you were my future, but now I see it's just doors full of unknowns. The song allows moments of deep emotion to escape. Wendy and Sulgi allow us to feel that true depth of pain in the second pre-chorus, only for the song to compose itself and return to its higher-than-thou attitude. The song is very cool. It has to be, in order to convince us that she's above it all. But we know, due to those vocals flavoring the song, that there is more to the story than that. 3. Attempting and failing. It's a new day. She's going to spend it at her favorite theme park. She's been to that park countless times, but each time it's like the first. And this time she gets to do it with a date. A new person who's entered her life, someone she can focus on now that she's gone through some of the stages of grief. Noisy day and night. When I'm with you, I feel like playing in the theme park. My heart beating does not stop, all day. Up and down, flying everywhere, special feelings. Start calling it love. Up and down without any cautiousness. I'll ride and play. I've set my mind. Every day is our season. Yeah, oops. Come on now. Above your heart, wherever it is, endlessly, round and round, like a dream. The park is as marvelous as ever, but something is wrong. She feels weightless as the roller coaster suspends her above the ground, yet her heart feels heavier than ever. Beyond the new door, falling in love, no time to take a breath. We're having fun. More and more, as if dreaming a nameless dream. The more time passes at that special place, the more she finds it unsatisfying. He's still taking her joy. Like the descending notes in the chorus melody, the joy she was able to revive was only able to last for a short moment. The xylophone, which was supposed to be an expression of unadulterated fun, is now taunting her. Red Velvet and the use of onomatopoeia in their songs is very common. In this instance, it's tacked onto both ends of the song. They were intentionally uncreative with the way they used it. They wanted it to feel artificial, like it was just placed there at the last second. The fun is there, but it's really not. Just like the girl trying with all her might to enjoy herself in a place she thought could never fail at making her smile. 4. Anger. He dropped her off home, not realizing all of the turmoil that's built up inside of her. She waits for him to turn the corner before she walks into the dead of a cold November night. If she's going to put herself through this, no one is allowed to watch it unfold. She's ready to let it all flow. Why are you lying? Tired, man. Come on. One piece of evidence. You are flattered. Just one more. You cannot escape. You're in my frame. It won't be easy. Well, as if I'm rewinding all of the CCTV, I plan to find out truth in your excuses. Watch out. Actually, I'm quite persistent. All night replay. You are so loud. Lingers in my ears. Your lies. Your lies. Look at you being more angry. I become more certain. Rewinding my memory. All the things I didn't notice in the space between your gaze. I zoom, zoom, zoom. Back and forth. Your gibberish. The alibi that you broke. Because it was sweet. Everything I swallowed. The loophole in your words. I zoom, zoom, zoom. Remember, 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 remember. She keeps telling herself to remember. Remember everything. The reason she was so determined to figure out his treachery was because he was so close to her heart. She can't forget how angry he got when she confronted him, how he yelled at her and tried to gaslight her, how he hurt her. Stopped in front of a suspicious scene, stepping a foot to that memory. Follow your gestures, follow your expressions. After that, evidence that I found. Guess what? I got him. I am a sharp policeman. You are a clumsy criminal. Watch out. I'm more thorough than I look. All night. Replay. Can't even stop. Find all the traces of your lies. Your lies. She's replaying in her mind how his facial expressions revealed his guilt. She's remembering how in that exact moment her heart wanted to collapse in on itself. She didn't want to believe it, but because of how thorough she was, there was no way she could even convince herself of an alternative conclusion. All night, replay, crying, then laughing, wanted to trust you, wanted to trust your lies, your lies. her eyes darting from him to the evidence and back to him, searching his eyes for some explanation but finding nothing except pupils that were avoiding hers. She's remembering it all. Remember, 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 remember. This is the first song in the tracklist that comes from a truly human place. It's why I think Zoom was singled out by the fandom as the standout B-side for Birthday. In the previous 3 tracks, our protagonist alludes to pain but doesn't allow herself to fully embrace it. This is the song that gives us the dirty details, vivid descriptions of her actions and his. It almost sounds like the song's plucked guitar melody is being played by someone as angry as she is. The raw power behind the vocals in this track overall eclipses any impact that was made in the other songs. As Joy takes her turn to sing the pre-chorus and nearly collapses in tears, we hear Wendy fill the room with a satisfying scream of a note that is the breakthrough we've been wanting to see for this girl the entire time. The song keeps telling her to remember everything that happened so that you can realize that it doesn't define you, that you didn't do anything to taint your kind spirit. Your value is still there, even though the person you trusted with your heart wasn't able to see it. She can breathe for what feels like the first time in all of her life. She's free. 5. Beginning again. She starts to look back at her experiences that have occurred since the breakup. She notices how difficult it was to be present in her own life, how she allowed herself to be burdened by things that didn't deserve to control her. She looks back at the struggle to recoup, but now sees herself on the other side of the journey. She's satisfied with her new state of mind. This song ends the album on a rather peaceful note, which we haven't had the opportunity to experience up till now. The song is quiet, but not because it's tired. It wants to take its time to tell its story. It wants to enjoy every word, every breath, every note. It wants to enjoy how wonderful life is, now that she is in the right place to realize it. As if nothing happened, close your eyes and blow out the candles. I want to be with you every day. Melted my heart, my secret you don't know. Party comes to an end. I want to stay a little longer. I miss the time to go. It's your birthday. Champagne that exploded with you. This cake was sweet all over like the first time. I celebrate. Back in the day, without even noticing, before the candle burns. Beside you, celebrate again. Like the hour hand reversed, I rewind the time alone. Falling sweetness, I get excited when I see you again, ecstatic, feeling unforgettable, everything. When everything stops, go back to you, smile brightly, and make eye contact. What else can she do but look back and, at least for herself, acknowledge how pleasant the party must have been for the crowds of guests, how fun the theme park must have been for all the other guests that day. She was distracted in those moments, but she was in a good place nonetheless. The story is told to the point, with no fluff, no filler. It has no time to waste. She will make sure to never waste her time on something that will prevent her from living the beautiful life she has in front of her. Back in the day, in the heart of regret, I stop and turn back. Start towards celebration. Put each other in your swaying eyes. We'll celebrate through the night. Even the same scene is new. You and I will celebrate and cross the time. It's your birthday. Every day. Full of you, I turn round and round by your side. Let's be together again. Let's celebrate. Back in the day, every morning is precious. In this memory that only I know, celebrate with all your heart. In this next part of the video, I'm going to talk about the concept for the birthday era. I think the most important goal for the concept to reach is nailing the aesthetic. I looked up the definition of aesthetic for the video and I got a set of principles underlying or guiding the work of a particular artist or artistic movement. When I think of birthday, I see the following principles creating the look and feel of the world where this story takes place. This world is cold and dark. Most of the promotional materials surrounding the MV, the actual MV, and physical albums themselves show things happening in the dead of night. The music video mostly submerges us in the night as Red Velvet forces their way into this party they weren't invited to. The lands where they face off against the other party guests individually. The claustrophobic long hallways are dimly lit so as not to disturb the nameless guests of the hotel trying to sleep. Even the portal where the final boss meets the group brings the melting pastry world to nighttime. When I listen to the tracks, I picture the stories being told happening that night. Our main character is experiencing her turmoil and her epiphanies wrapped in her favorite oversized sweater under the comfort of the midnight sky. The second most important aspect of this concept is its color palette. Think of the moment where you were a kid jumping in the bouncy house your aunt rented out for your cousin's birthday party, and you've been in there for hours with half a dozen other kids when your parents call you to get your shoes on because it's time to go home. You lunge forward to get through the tiny opening at the front of the jumper and bounce your way down the little ramp to land next to your shoes, not having realized that the sun went down hours ago. As you tie your shoelaces, you look slightly upwards and take note of the colors of the inflatable ramp you stepped off of seconds ago. It's made up of primary colors: yellow, green, and blue. You tilt your head up just slightly and you see one of the pillars hovering above the chamber of the bouncy house in what appears to look a reddish pinkish hue. Because the sun disappeared long ago, all of the colors look dimmer than they should. You stand up, but not until you see the bouncy house lifted up just enough to see the bottom of it stained with dirt and grass. Those are the colors that create the essence of this concept. Colors that read fun and carefree, but also dirty and grimy, almost like there's something slightly off with the party you're at. The way you see our main character as one of the guests at the party, but when you see her expressions, you can tell something's wrong with her. The styling for this era is a mix of early 2000s silhouettes and accessories put together to create kitsch evening wear that's also suitable for a day at a theme park. I know, it makes zero sense, but at the same time it makes perfect sense once you look at the outfits themselves and the backdrops the members find themselves in. I'm not going to go through each set of outfits associated with this era for the sake of time, but I will talk about a couple of my favorites that I believe best encapsulate the core of this era's aesthetic. My favorite music video outfits are the black ones they wear while in the land of melted pastries and in the party room once they finally get in. What really sells it for me is the detail of colorful beading that lines the hems of a lot of the pieces. I especially love it as it lines the jackets Irene and Joy wear. Irene looks like she's wearing Chanel and perfectly matches her candy-embellished Chanel suit with the black ribbon in her hair. The detail of the beading is also used to embellish Sulgi's tie and Wendy's beret, which I find incredibly endearing. And while some of the pieces are dressed up, the other pieces are very commercial. Sulgi wears her tie loosely around her neck over an oversized black graphic tee and denim shorts and leather boots. Yeri wears her crop top that almost looks like a bustier over a fitted t-shirt and matching shorts. Yeri's also wearing ribbons in her hair. Wendy's is the most relaxed of the 5 outfits, wearing a fitted white shirt and black shorts lined in the colorful beads, with black combat boots, fingerless gloves, and the beret we talked about earlier. By far being the outfits most inspired by the 2000s. Each outfit is rather simple but made special, with a few thoughtful touches here and there to make them special. The other set of looks I'll mention are the army-inspired looks they wear on a live stage. I won't show clips of it here because I don't want to be copyrighted for it, but if you look it up, I just want you to notice how they all wear the camouflage patterns but use the theme to create their own looks to make them feel strong and ready to spend the day together at a music festival. They all have their own separate colors paired with the camo print, but they all remain cohesive. My favorite detail is the little bear plushies they have clipped onto their belt loops. This whole entire aesthetic and concept is tied together with an old, misshapen bow that is the album's cover art. It's a bright neon pink that's just dull enough to not hurt your eyes, but bright enough to strongly contrast the harshly drawn black-colored brushstrokes and the name of the album and logo are made of. It stands out amongst all of Red Velvet's album covers and has an aggressive energy, foreshadowing the gritty story hidden in the lyrics and production of its songs. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This mini album does so many things right that I'm still geeking out about this comeback 2 years after its release. As much as I loved it, I feel like it all just kind of came and went in the public's eye, partly due to their dissatisfaction with the title track and partly because they have had so many great comebacks from various groups, including Red Velvet since then. It's crazy how well Red Velvet adhered to this new trend of releasing little to no music per comeback, showing everyone that you can still create excellent and emotional music and concepts in those restraints. I think K-pop companies, including SM, should be studying what was created here and used to push them together toward a higher level of quality. Please take a moment to go back and just listen to this short but powerful EP in your spare time while keeping in mind everything we've talked about. It would mean so much to me. Also, let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say and get into a discussion about this era. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to my video. I hope you have a great rest of your day.